And most times people are really busy. I get it with your kids and running around doing all the other stuff, but a lot of people are really busy making money. And unfortunately, most times it's not enough money to live the type of life that they want. So people will say, well, maybe I could start flipping houses, or maybe I could get a few rentals and supplement my income. And then before you know it, a lot of people turn that into a full-time income, which is awesome, right? This is what we do. We teach people how to create income, how to create either big hits of money, right, through doing fix and flips, maybe little hits of money in wholesaling, or passive income in the form of rentals, holding notes, etc. There's a lot of different ways to get involved in real estate, guys. And the purpose of that, you need to determine where you want to go. And that's for the brand new people. Now, for you existing people, let me talk to you for a minute. You have a business, right? Maybe you have one or two rentals, maybe you have a portfolio. But every single investor I've ever met over the last 11 years has always wanted to scale up. They've always wanted to go bigger, right? Grow what they have. And so what we've created, what we are modeling is systems to put in place so that whether you're brand new, you have a little bit of experience, maybe you're dabbling in real estate, or maybe you're a full-time professional, we're going to help you scale that up, and we all grow together as a team. So it's a pretty cool concept, all right? I ask people all the time after a meeting, after they see a presentation, I'm like, what did you like most about what you saw? The four things, almost 100% of the time, the four things people say all the time is what I put on the screen right here. They love the sense of community. They love the sense of not feeling alone. They love the knowledge and experience of the people that are doing this full time, and they love the support that they're going to get. Because if you think about it, and I know, we talk about this a lot, what are your options for being, successful in real estate? Well, you could buy the courses, right? Buy some guru course, maybe go on Bigger Pockets, right? Watch some YouTube videos, maybe join your local RIA where you meet once a month. But there's no sense of community there. There's no sense of support. And when you need a good electrician, and when you need money for your deal, and you need a title attorney, or whatever the case may be, you're scrambling, right? You feel alone. People are trying to do this on their own, and it's hard. So when you could insert yourself into a machine, literally, that's already running, that we have all the resources that you need, whether it's the people, the contractors, right, the professionals, the money, it's all there for you. So what's the only thing lacking is the effort that you need to put in. So what we do is we teach you step by step, again, whether you're brand new or need to scale up, what those next steps are. And we use the curriculum. We have a foundation of the education company. I always call it a college, but technically not supposed to call it that because it's not accredited, right? You don't earn college credits, but it's an online education company called Renatus, and that's what we market. Now, we're all students. That's the other thing. I'm a student too. And so a lot of the things I talk about, and I humble myself and say, look, I'm surprised at the things I didn't know. And I always start off talking about you don't know what you don't know, and I'm case in point with that. So that's what most people like about what they saw, and that's why they come back, and that's frankly why they join us, okay? And maybe you're the same way. You probably are. That's why you're listening to this now, okay? This is the community, guys. This is just a quick snapshot of my Langhorne office. We have new people every week coming in the door. We have people joining us. Now, look, not everybody joins us, right? Because I don't know what they were looking for when they came and checked it out, but maybe they found out, well, it costs money and you have to actually pay for classes. Well, yeah, nothing's free, right? But what we're going to talk about today are the different options. There's numerous different options, and I think that by explaining to them these options to you in detail, you'll be able to see what works best for you. And then we put it all together and away we go. Okay. So that's pretty cool. That was actually, I think that was a week ago Thursday, that shop. But anyway, you ask yourself this, how much residual income would you need for time freedom? The funny thing is about real estate, when I ran my coaching business, people come from all different areas and different backgrounds, right? So some people would say, hey, look, I make 40 grand a year, right? And so I would say, well, the average fix and flip in this area is 40 grand. So you just need to do one a year. Or maybe they make 80 grand a year or 400 grand a year. If you want to do a fix and flip rehab type business, you got to take a look at the amount of money that you need, and then you know how many deals you have to do. So if you do one a quarter, right, how much is that? 4 times 4, it's 160 grand a year. Not bad. If you do one every 6 months, that's $80,000 a year. So everybody has their own financial footprint and knowing what they need to replace whatever they do now. I say replace because the majority of people we talk to, if given the choice, wouldn't do what they do anymore, guys. It's Friday at noon. Most people woke up this morning and went to work or started their business not happy about what they're about to do. But you got to do things like feed your kids and put a roof over your head and pay for your cell phone, right? So you got to do something. But the majority of people, I was told recently in a poll by USA Today, 87% of people, if given the choice, would stop doing what they're doing, which is kind of scary, man. It's kind of sad, right? I personally love what I do. So what do? I do two things. I'm a full-time real estate investor, have been for many years, but now I'm building these communities and I'm working with people. And what does that do for you? Well, surprise, that helps me to do more deals because the larger we grow, the bigger the organism becomes, the more deals I can do too. Because we work with people, we partner on deals, we do joint ventureships, right, JVs. and the whole thing goes round and around. So I'm very satisfied with what I'm doing. I feel like it's been my calling. I love to do public speaking. I love to work with people one-on-one. And frankly, this business model allows me to do all that, right? So some of you like to do public speaking. And as we open up new areas, we're looking for people like you, right? We're looking for people to open up new locations, to run these types of communities. And, you know, we're all going to grow together. So that's pretty cool. But ask yourself this as we move on. How much residual income would you need for time freedom? If you want rentals, right? Let's say you're going to get a rental and you're going to net a clean net of $500 a month. Well, then how many of those do you need to stop doing what you're doing, right? And you can literally create the equation of whatever type of business model that you want. How about wholesaling, right? We can determine what the average wholesale is based upon the neighborhoods that you want to target by zip code. And you're going to know, hey, in this area of Philly, you're only going to make like $2-3 grand a house, or you're going to make 10, 20, 50. Like, you know, guy in our group, Dan, made $45,000 on a recent wholesale assignment fee. So there's a range, right? But we know the types of deals that you're going after in those markets. This is why it's important to be a part of a community that knows the area, like the back of their hand. You understand? Real estate investing is very local. And I say it all the time. If you cross the street or cross the railroad tracks and you're in a different school district, values could drop by $50,000 like that. But if you don't know that and you don't live here and invest here, you just made a fatal mistake in a real estate deal. That could cost you a lot of money. Getting back to the point that if your coach is some dude on a headset in some city that's not from here, whether it's one of these guru things or whatever, guess what? It's not going to work. So this, again, is why we're so successful at what we do, okay? So let's talk about the support. This is important. Right here, guys, you're going to see from Renatus, from the education company, this is what they give you. So when you enroll in the classes, here's what you get. You get group coaching every Tuesday night. It's a webinar, and it's kind of like this, but it's interactive, right? So you will be able to bring any questions you have. Yes, they have a set syllabus that they follow, but any questions, concerns about your business, about a deal, you need help analyzing a deal, Renatus will provide that to you every Tuesday night. How long is that for? Forever. Like literally, you can go on this Tuesday night webinar for the rest of your life, okay? Depending on what level of the education you choose. When you do either start with or upgrade to the full college, I always say, the full, with every course and every curriculum and everything, you're going to get a one-on-one coach for 6 months, okay? It's actually 6 sessions, but most people like to do a once-a-month call to really gauge and map out their business. And so that's how they set that up. But that's totally included with your tuition, okay? The live classes are constantly being recorded. You know, they're always updating the classes, giving new content, creating new classes. The newest one that I'm really excited that's coming out, I don't know, what are we in, November? I was told by the end of the year, so I'm thinking next month in December, raw land development. This is going to teach you how to basically take like a tear down, like a really piece of garbage, tear it down to the dirt and then rebuild back up, or buy a raw piece of land, buy the dirt and how to build up. It's a whole different business model. I've never done that, but I'll tell you what, I've had opportunities put in front of me that I passed on because I didn't know what to do. So I'm really excited to get into those classes because those opportunities pop up more than you would think, right? If you're active and you're out there, these, you know, deals come to you. What if a short sale deal comes to you? Do you know what to do with it? Or do you know that maybe you're not going to do this rehab, but you could take the property over subject to? Or maybe you can do a contract for deed. You understand? There's so many different strategies to real estate, but if you don't have the knowledge, if you don't have the education, which is where the classes come into play, you're going to be operating at a very low level. Well, I'm a wholesaler. Nothing wrong with that. People make a lot of money wholesaling, or I'm a rehabber. Wonderful. But what if you were that same wholesaler, that same rehabber that had the ability to look at the same deal as everybody else, but you knew you had 6 or 7 different acquisition strategies and maybe 5 or 6 exit strategies because you had the training and the knowledge. You've now literally outshined everybody around you in your community because you're now an elite investor. Regardless of how many deals you've done so far, once you have the knowledge, now these deals that you didn't even know were a deal will open up to you. And that's the most amazing thing that I see, that I've been doing this a year and a half with myself included, right? So as I'm a student going into classes, the things I'm learning, the people in the community as they come in the door, Vinny is a great example. Let me share one quick story with you. So Vinny is an Indian gentleman who's from New Jersey. I think he's from, I think it's South Brunswick or something like that. Plainsboro, I don't know. Anyway, point is, he calls me up, you know, after he came to a meeting, came back to a follow-up, like what you're doing here, but live in the office. And he said, Brian, I'm an engineer. So is my wife. And what I want, again, getting back to what people want and showing them how to get it, I want to get my wife out of work. My wife doesn't want to work anymore. And eventually I want to stop too. I want to be a full-time real estate investor. All right, well, Vinny, how much money do you need to make? What is your wife making? What are you netting? We worked it all out, right? This is very personal, by the way. It's not like, you know, we speak from the stage as a presentation to a group. This is to a group. But for the people who join us now, it gets down to brass tacks. This is one-on-one, you know, this is the type of support you're going to receive by working with people like us, right? Because you're different from that guy and from that girl. You have different scenarios, and we have to work with you and customize that for you. It takes a lot of time, but it's worth it. You know, it's worth it because we're building a long-term thing here. I tell people all the time, this is a marathon, not a sprint, right? Getting back to Vinny, joins us just about 3 months ago, 2.5, 3 months ago. Got enrolled in the classes, took immediate action. I'm talking immediate action, right? Did exactly what we told him, following the coursework, joining the study group, going on the calls in the morning, attending the workshops. He just plugged in. He just went, you know, balls to the wall. He has already done 2 deals, made himself $55,000. He's got another deal. He took over subject to that's cash flowing $1,200 a month net. And he's going to sell that in 6 months and pick up another 20 grand. So that's $75,000 once he sells it. $1,200 a month for the next 6 months. That's what, another 12 times 6, 72. That's $82,000 he generated in 2.5 months. Brand new to our group. You understand? Jess, when she first joined us a year ago, when she did her first wholesale deal, made $18,500 in Philly. You understand? Young girl. These are the types of success stories that let me know I'm doing a good thing. These are the things I want to share with you because it's real, man. This isn't like some, you know, pie in the sky type thing. Well, we're going to get there one day and we're going to do this. This is happening now. The only difference is you're not a part of us. So the whole purpose of this is to peel this stuff back and show you what your life could look like by working with a group like us. Okay. So the live classes, they come out really pretty cool. The monthly workshops, interestingly enough, we're having our next one tomorrow. So every other month, we fly somebody in, one of the instructors from Renatus, to come in and do a workshop for us. The one we're doing tomorrow is on building business credit. Really, really interesting topic because most people that I meet, you'd be surprised a lot of people investing and doing it in their own name, which is a horrible thing to do. So the first thing we have to do is help them get an entity set up, right? Create your LLC, possibly do a subchapter S election. It's all in the classes, and you know, we go through all that with people. But here's the point. Most people, even those with an existing business, an existing entity, they don't have any business credit. And a lot of them don't even realize that your business has its own credit profile aside from your personal credit, which you can and should build and open trade lines so that, I don't know, maybe you start with 5, 10,000, then you get your way up to 100 and 200 and a few million so that you have lines of credit to do your own real estate deals with and you don't have to borrow money from anybody else. Changes the game, guys. Even if you just had enough money for that down payment, right? Because most hard money lenders will lend 90% of the acquisition, but you still need that 10%. So to have that float, to have that business line of credit is critical, right? How about for your marketing efforts? You know, bandit signs and postcards and direct mail campaigns, they cost money. Websites, I mean, there's an expense to running a business, right? So the whole point is having lines of credit will help you. We're running an all-day workshop tomorrow, and we do this every month. The one we're going to do next month is going to be, I believe, on raising private capital. We're going to have Ryan Fisher come in from Camaplan, I believe, and it's tentatively set for the 16th, but I'll get back to you guys and let you know. Here's the thing. Some of you may be watching this. You're like, I'm not near Langhorne, Pennsylvania, but how the hell can I get to your office? We live stream everything, guys, and we record it, okay? We live stream it and we record it. So you can have the recording forever. Even if you come to the building and watch it live, you actually attend tomorrow or any workshop that we do, you're going to get a copy of the entire day's recording and the presenter slides. If you watch it remote, same thing, right? Because we're growing more than just in this area, right? We also understand that sometimes people have to stay home with their kids, or maybe you can only attend half of it and you got a wedding to go to or something. Well, then get your ticket and you're going to get the recording. Everything you see on this screen, we charge $50. Now, the live class updates are free. The one-on-one coaching, there's no cost. There's no cost to the group coaching. We charge $50 for the workshop because we fly someone in. We got to pay for their hotel, their flight. So that's it. It's $50 a ticket. I think that's very reasonable. It's sustainable, and it helps to keep the lights on. So that's our business model, okay? Now I'm really getting you inside of how we operate this building. Because, guys, we don't charge like $1,000 a day. We don't charge for this, charge for that. We charge for the workshops, right? Because that's our sustainable model. Now, the weekly study groups is another interesting thing. It's probably the thing I'm the most proud of. The study groups are this, and most of you, if you've been to this building in Langhorne, you see that in the room next door there's a study group. You see 60, 70, 80 people live and a whole bunch more watching remotely, going through the syllabus, breaking down the education week by week. What does that mean? It means everybody independently studies on their own. Then they get together as a group and they break it down. They discuss it. What challenges did you encounter? What didn't make sense to you? What did you do based upon what you saw? And what are you going to do between now and when we meet again next week? Our study groups are held Thursdays. We run study groups in Philadelphia on Tuesdays. We're going to start running study groups in the Somerset and Morristown area probably in the next month or so as we build up those groups because they're brand new, right? With Joe O, the guy who said hello earlier. So this is a sustainable model where people actually can get involved and have progression each week. You know, Tony Robbins says that the definition of success is progress. And what we help people do, what we're experts at, is helping you progress week by week. Because if you're making that progress, you are successful, even if you haven't done your first deal yet, right? Maybe you're still getting educated, getting all your business set up to really run, and you're making progress and you're a success. So it's just a different way to look at it, right? But I'm very proud of the study groups. It's really great. Finally, we also run daily, oh, you know, my picture's in the way of that word over there. Hold on a second. Local teams, there we go. So again, Renatus provides the things on the left. On the right, at least the way I'm looking at it, is what the local teams, what we provide. And the last thing is a mastermind call. It's a daily mastermind call. Basically what it is, it's Monday through Thursday at 8 a.m. Eastern. And if you can't attend that because you're getting your kids off to school, or maybe you're already working at that time, you just call in and listen if you want, right? But we record them, we email them out to you, and we put them into our private Facebook group, which you'll be a part of. Let me talk about the Facebook group for a minute too. That's pretty cool. So we have over 200 people in there so far, and it grows every day. And basically people bring their deals there. Someone needs some money for a deal. Somebody needs a referral of an electrician in this certain part of Bucks County or this certain part of New Jersey. And you'll see the team swarm in and offer help, offer a resource, call this guy, do this, do that. Or I need help analyzing a deal. I'm not really sure. Great. Bring it to the Facebook group. You want help analyzing your deal? Bring it on your morning call, right? You can unmute yourself at any time. Let's talk it through. You have a whole army of people there to help you analyze your deal so you don't make a mistake, right? Bring your deal to the study group. We analyze deals in the study group. Again, getting back, guys, to the very first slide and what I was talking to you about, the biggest thing we are as a community, and you're not going to be alone. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And that's huge, right? Especially if you've been out there trying to do it on your own. So let's see what's next. Boop. Weird noise. Oh, yeah, the animations. All right, so here's a little breakdown of what the classes look like. The 101s, or the essentials, if you will. Every time I do a presentation, I hit on certain topics that I believe are going to, build intrigue with people. Maybe things they didn't realize before, like how to pay off a 30-year mortgage in 7 to 8 years, utilizing something called velocity banking. But see, guys, it's not just for your mortgage. It's for any type of amortized debt. It's for your credit cards. It's for your student loans, your car loans. You lump all that in. We actually have a calculator, right? Not to mention an 8-hour course on it, because that's, again, very individualized. It's very custom to you, your personal financial situation. But you fill out the calculator, put all your figures in, and it'll teach you and show you exactly what to do to get that debt paid off in a fraction of the time. Because you know how it is, guys. If you just keep paying on the payment schedules that you have, your mortgage is going to take 30 years. God only knows on the student loans. Credit cards, you're never paying them off if you're making the minimums, right? And people are stuck in this debt trap. So velocity banking teaches people how to get out of that. That is included in the essentials. The very initial base package of the essentials training contains 80 hours of training, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. It's included there. The other thing is tax and legal day 1 and 2. That's 16 hours by Mark Kohler, who teaches you how to do things like pay your kids and write off everything from diapers to prom dresses, right? Or how to pay family members technically, because it's any dependent. Basically how to set up your entities to know that you're paying legally the minimum amount of tax possible, right? Getting yourself down, like we talk about, into that 8 to 10% tax rate. Effective. Also showing you about the deductions, hidden deductions, things that you didn't know you could write off, right? Like your kids. So it's really advanced tax strategies that some of the wealthiest, most successful people that I've dealt with in the last 18 months, when they hear these concepts, they're not used to them. Nobody taught them that, right? And it really shocks me. You think somebody makes it to that level, they probably know these things. They don't. Most people don't. Or they're familiar with them, but they don't know how to implement, right? Well, there's 16 hours of training teaching you how to implement in that very first essentials group, right? And again, there's the other things. We'll speed this up. There's real estate essentials, real estate red flags, understanding your investor ID, deal of the decade, all these things, guys, right? Eventually, you're going to want to graduate. You're going to want to get into the vocational tracks or the specialties, if you will. So what you'll see right there, that house that's upside down obviously stands for fix and flip. We get into your buy and hold, which are your lease options, your foreclosures, tax deeds and liens, multifamily investing, notes, which is really learning how to become the bank. We're actually tied in with the second largest note broker in the nation, okay? And then finally, commercial properties. A lot of people have a big interest in commercial investing. I personally don't, but a lot of people do. So there's a whole coursework on that. I'm going to show you what that looks like. There's also 11 bonus tracks, right? And this is the entire college, if you will, university, education company, excuse me. This is everything in one shot. So you got your 1 to 200 level, which are called your essentials. And then you have your 3 to 400 level, which is your AITs, which are your accelerated investor training tracks, okay? So moving right along, this is a breakdown of what's included in each of those vocational tracks. So in the fix and flip, there's fix and flip day 1, day 2, market analysis, the whole thing. And you'll see through each grouping that it's an entire curriculum based upon that specialty. And look, I get it. Maybe you just want to do fix and flip and buy and hold. Well, there's an option for you for that, right? Or maybe you just want to do, like I did all these years, hopefully not, just short sales, right? You got to pick what you want to do. But here's what I tell people all the time. To have the knowledge to do it all is pretty cool, because you'll be able to do deals that most people can't, right? So qualified practitioner instructors. I know I mention this every time I do a presentation, but guys, this blows my mind to this day. In Renatus, if you want to be an instructor, the instructors that you see here, and there's actually 26 or 7 of them, you need to prove with settlement statements, with HUD-1s, that you did $1 million in net profit last year, or you don't teach anymore. Well, what if you did 800,000? They'll replace them. They hold them to such a high standard, because if they're not still practicing, right? If they're not still out there in the game, they're giving you dated knowledge, because things in this industry change quick, right? So they have to prove every year that they made $1 million, not in sales, guys, in net profit, or they're not an instructor anymore. They replace them. Pretty high standard, right? I've never heard of anything like that before, but it's very impressive to me. The other thing is this. You probably haven't heard of a Christian George before, right? Or maybe you never heard of a Mark Kohler or all these people. To me, that bothered me at the beginning. I'm thinking, I never heard of these guys. Who are they? Guys, the fact that you haven't heard of them is actually a good thing. Why? Because they're not gurus. They're not out there selling courses. They're just actual real investors who were recruited, frankly, to be instructors in this education company. So what turned out to be, for me, a little bit of a skepticism, once I thought it through, I'm like, damn, that's actually pretty cool. I actually like the fact I never heard of these guys. Kind of cool. Jay Massey, all the other ones, right? Chris Albin. So here's a great slide. This is awesome. We're going to literally show you how between the day you get started with us, between day 1 and day 90, you're going to have your first deal under contract, your first property under contract. Now, listen, I can't say guaranteed. Nothing's guaranteed. But it's pretty damn guaranteed, okay? Because at the end of the day, here's what you have to understand, guys. We're going to teach you in the first 30 days how to, it says become smarter than. Become smarter than what? Become smarter than most investors that you're surrounding yourself with. Become smarter than your accountant, and probably smarter than your attorney. Now, look, I'm not trying to say you're going to go practice law or be a CPA, but what I'm saying is you're going to learn things that they didn't know. Again, this is in the essentials courses. You're literally going to learn things that that chances are your CPA and your attorney don't know, or if they did know, you'd probably want to ask why the hell they didn't tell you, right? Because there's some significant savings once you get this stuff down, all right? Guys, by the way, little pause, please type your questions into the chat box. There should be a little box that says chat or Q&A or something like that somewhere around on your screen. Just type them in, and we're going to get to all of them later on. Like I said, I promise you we'll go through every question you have. I just want to run through these slides and hit the topics. So as you think of different questions, just go ahead and type them in, and I'll run through them and answer every question you have, okay? Or maybe they got answered as we go along. But the next 60 days is to develop an individual strategy for you. Again, this depends on where you currently are starting. Again, maybe you have no experience, you're brand new, or you're starting with a little bit of knowledge, or you're coming in with a huge foundation. It's going to be customized, but we're going to set a strategy for you to really help you get going, specifically helping you find the leads, analyze the deals. There's the 2 biggest hurdles to people getting started. Like, where do I find the deals? Where do I get them from? Well, we have many solutions for that, right? We have offline marketing, online marketing. We have a white label version of RealFlow, which is the #1 investing software out there, white labeled for us, called Renatus iOS, and at a fraction of the price that like a Than Merrill would sell for. Those guys, so the $300 a month package, guys, we get it for $124.95, and there's a referral component that you can get it for free. So you can get them online. If you're not tech savvy, you don't want to deal with online stuff, fine. We're going to teach you the offline method, right? Where there's direct mail campaigns, networking, there's numerous ways to generate leads. But once you generate a lead and you find a lead, you have to learn how to analyze it, because a lead is not a deal. A lead is nothing but a lead. Now you have to do your analysis and determine, is this a potential deal, right? And then finally, we'll help you within 90 days to get the property under contract. It's a clear path. Again, I'm just scratching the surface. This is a 1,000-foot overview, but we have a clear path to help you get there, okay? And a lot of people have proved that it works. This is that Renatus iOS software I was telling you about. In fact, let's do this. Let me show you something. I can share my screen. I logged in earlier. This is RealFlow. This is Renatus iOS. So if you are looking for properties, they have something here called lead pipes. So if you click lead pipes, right? Let me show you how this works. Let's say you're looking for, these are the different types of leads that you have access to. You have access to absentee owners, 39 million of them. Now, this is nationwide, of course, but you target it for your zip code, right? Bankruptcies, cash buyers, low equity, high equity, free and clear, private lenders, probates, renters, whatever, right? Let's say, I don't know, let's say we're going to look for absentee owners, just as an example. This is defaulted here. Let's go to the state of Pennsylvania. Let's go where I'm physically at right now, which is Bucks County. Okay, Bucks. Let's just run a quick search. Let's see what comes up. So in Bucks County, where I'm physically at right now, guys, there are, if you see down here, 8,108 absentee owners. That basically means somebody owns the property but lives somewhere else. Now, you can really drill this down. You can go into the city, right? You can break it down to the city. You can go into the owner detail, right? Absentee in-state or out-of-state, it defaults to both, right? You could choose just the ones that are in-state or maybe those that live somewhere else. You can go to the owner type, right? Whether it's an individual, a business, financial, government, or trusts. You can break down the property information. You're only looking for 3 bedrooms. You're only looking for ones with 3 bedroom, 1 bath. What kind of property? Well, I'm going to do a targeted campaign for condos, or I just want single families. You can get as granular as you like. At the end of the day, you can pull up the detail. Like, I don't know, here's one in Coopersburg, view the details. This just pulls public record data, right? And all this allows you to do is research the data so you can now contact these people. How do I contact them, Bri? You can do everything from knock on the door to call them if you have a phone number, or do a direct mail campaign. You can literally click the button and create a direct mail campaign. So that's going to send out anything from postcards to handwritten letters, which are actually written with an actual robot with a big pen that holds a big pen. It's insane. And do a direct mail campaign. You could do a 2-touch, 3-touch, 5-touch campaign, or maybe you don't have the money to have it outsourced like that, right? Well, you can download all the leads, all the data, and do it yourself. Just take some time each day writing out your letters, handwritten letters. It works, right? So pretty cool software, but that's just to show you where you can get the leads from. But then, of course, you want to learn how to analyze the deals. There's deal analyzers. There's hammer points. You can walk through a property with your phone, or preferably walk through with a tablet, right, like an iPad mini, and literally go through the property, and it's check boxes, right? Needs a roof. What kind of roof is it? Square foot, with pre-populated with all the information from here, guys. It'll create a repair estimate for you before you even leave the house. I've been using this forever with RealFlow, because with every single short sale that we submit a deal to, we want to include a repair estimate, right? So I'm not going to call a contractor to walk through every single house I'm looking at or putting an offer in on. I would always use RealFlow, which again, and now it's called Renatus iOS, because it generates that repair estimate for you. And in fact, we'll target it to local labor rates based upon the zip code that you're in. It knows the local labor rates for contractors. And the pricing is tied into the local Home Depot based on zip code, the closest Home Depot, and their pricing, because it changes, right? State by state. Pretty cool, right? So just know that help is there for you. And it does a million other things too, but I just wanted to kind of touch base with that, because we're not trying to be here all day. So let's look at the pricing. When I talk up there on a Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, and I say, look, for the whole thing it's 20 grand. A lot of people get turned off. They're like, oh man, that's so much money. I would say, compared to what? Compared to college, compared to like going to school for 4 years, paying 100 grand or 300 grand, or sending your kid for that. And if they're lucky, they got it, if they even get a job. And if they do, it's generally not in their field of study. So 20 grand for lifetime access to real estate education. So every time it updates and changes, you have that. I don't think that's bad, but I understand that some people don't have that type of money. Okay. We're going to talk about different ways to pay for it in a minute, but scroll down or look down here where it says $8,000. This is broken up, and this is what obviously we don't get into in the presentations, but this 1997 is that essentials course. So the 80 hours of basic training, which is not basic at all, it includes the velocity banking, setting up your entities, creative acquisitions, right? That's $2,000 down here. You'll see it's 10 8-hour classes. It includes all the other stuff we talked about, but it's bundled in the other 3 options. So there's 3 options here. It's the $2,000 option. It's the $8,000 option, which is really 2 and 6. Now, this 6 is interesting because you get to pick 2 of those tracks. If you don't want the whole damn thing, you say, look, I just want fix and flip and buy and hold, or I want short sales and commercial properties, or whatever. You get to pick 2. The essentials portion, this portion down here, you have for the rest of your life. It never shuts off. If you get the entire university or entire college or whatever you want to call it, education company, with the 20 grand, it's for the rest of your life. If you go with the middle route, the essentials portion, that $2,000 portion, you have for the rest of your life, but the 2 vocational tracks that you choose have a 12-month redemption, which means you have 1 year to go over the classes as many times as you want, and then it shuts off. I tell people it's kind of like going to college. You don't pay your tuition and get to go forever. But in this case, you do. You get the essentials portion forever. And if you start with or upgrade to the full package, it's for the rest of your life, which is pretty cool, okay? That's just a little visual breakdown. Now, here's the thing, too. You don't need 28 or 2. There's different options available, which we're going to get into now. What are the 4 top funding options, okay? There they are right there. Cash or credit card. Obviously, you put it on a credit card, a debit card, numerous cards. You pay your 2, 8, or 20. You're done. Pretty simple, right? Send in a cashier's check, right? Not a big deal. I like to mention this real quick, that people can take out a permanent insurance loan, not a term policy, but if you have one of these whole life, universal life, variable life, like the Gerber baby commercial, that stuff, they build up cash values of the life insurance policy that you can borrow against. A lot of people don't know that. So if you do have one of those policies, look into it, because you could borrow from yourself and pay interest to yourself. Same thing with a 401k, guys. Either you, your spouse, somebody you know, you can take a personal loan from a 401k up to $50,000, up to 50% of what's in there, with no penalty. They don't penalize you. You do have to pay yourself interest. The government makes you pay yourself back interest. In this case, it was 5.25%, prime plus 1 or 2, whatever. The current prime rate in this example was 3.25. So what does that mean? Over a 60-month term, you're paying $284 a month, right? No money down. And you're actually going to increase your 401k or someone you know's 401k by $2,087. That's it. Not a big deal. It's just an option. I like to mention that because people didn't know that. Now, the final one that you should know is this one right here. Every one of you, when you're done, and I'm going to send a follow-up email with some of the links that I referenced today, so in case you can't screenshot it or write it down, you're driving, whatever, I get it. GetFundedOnline.com is, so the gentleman, Eric Counts, who runs our credit management course, owns a company called Credit Nerds. GetFundedOnline.com is an assessment where they're going to go ahead and they have 131 resources to raise capital for you. Capital for what? Oh, I don't know. Maybe your real estate education, maybe your real estate deals. Erica Mejia comes to mind. She's out of Washington, D.C. She went through the Get Funded Online program. They did her profile assessment. She wanted to raise $20,000 to get the education, the full package. They got her 120 grand. So not only did she have the money to get all of her classes, which she'll have the rest of her life, she had an extra $100,000 sitting there to do real estate deals, do marketing for real estate deals. You understand? So I don't know what they're going to raise for you, and neither do you until you do it, because it's free. The assessment is free. Actually, what they do is, so what they'll do, guys, is when you go to getfundedonline.com, it'll explain everything for you. But you're going to go to one of these, they're going to route you off to one of these like 3-score, Find My 3 scores, or whatever one that they find is the most accurate, where you're going to get your 3 reports and your 3 scores. You're going to give them your username and password so they can do an analysis for you. Why? So there's no hit on your credit. You understand? There's no inquiry, because they're checking as you. And when you check your own credit report and scores, there's no ding. There's no inquiry, all right, which drops your score like 2 points. But it's not going to happen here because they log in as you. Then they go to their 131 resources and they're like, you know what? They have targeted profiles and algorithms, which they know, by the way, everything from a private lender lending money up to Chase Bank and everything in the middle, right? Whether it's hedge funds, credit unions, 131 resources. Chances are they're going to be able to raise you some money, right? What you do with it's up to you. Most of it, not all of it, it depends on your credit background, and everybody's different, but a majority of it is at 0% interest. You know, they've been introductory rates for 6 months or a year at 0%. Pretty cool, right? Now, what happens is if they turn you down and they can't generate any money for you, it's kind of like a good news, bad news phone call. I always tell people when I did short sales when we back out of the deal, everyone is guaranteed if you can come up with 20%. If you look at the bottom of the screen, guys, it's 100% guaranteed that you're going to get financing for the education. What do I mean? I mean, there's a company called UGA that Renatus partnered with called Universal Guardian Acceptance, that if you can put down 20% of whatever those 3 packages you choose, which respectively would be 20% of 20 grand is $4,000. If you bring on a tuition partner, cut it in half, that's 2 grand. So for $2,000, nobody checks your credit, assuming you have a partner, right? And you can get the entire thing. Now drop down to the lowest package of $2,000. What's 20%? It's $400. What's half of that? $200. So when I tell people you can get started for a few $100s, I'm being honest. And nobody checks your credit. You don't even have to have a job. So what happens is sometimes people hear the 20 grand and they don't come back and they're like, oh man, I don't have $20,000. Do you have 400? Can you find someone that might want to do this with you? Do you have $200 each? Because you're in. You understand? So everybody's at different phases, and we're not sitting here trying to sell you a $20,000 package. Is it the best value? Absolutely. You get everything, you get it for life. But maybe you can't start there, but you can always upgrade there, okay? And there's no charge to upgrade, and there's no time limit. You can do that whenever you want. So you decide what's best for you. But it's pretty cool, because I'll tell you one thing. When I was selling my short sale course and all the other courses that I marketed, and when Than Merrill and Armando Montalongo and Kiyosaki come into town, they don't finance you. You either have the 30 to 120 grand for their coaching and mentoring, right? What a joke. Or you don't get it. You either have it or you don't. They don't take payments. This education company takes payments. They don't check your credit, and the coaching is included at no cost. And people wonder why I stopped selling my course. They wonder why I shut down my coaching program. I don't fly around anymore and do that. I don't speak at Riz. I don't do that. Why do you build communities of people? Because of this. Because it's the lowest entry point, meaning nobody's left out, okay? Nobody's left out. And so people with a desire to learn, a desire to be a part of something, willing to work hard, are going to have the opportunity to be successful. Or maybe they're going through a tough time and they don't have the money, what they would like, the whole 20 grand. But for a few $100s, I always tell people, you go sell something, man, because this is an opportunity that could change your life. So pretty cool, right? Getfundedonline.com. They actually run a funding webinar every Tuesday night. There's a live one every Tuesday at 9 Eastern. There's the link. I'll send you guys that. Or you can watch the recording. Like I said, I'll put these links in the recap email from today. Two of the most frequently asked questions are, can I use financial aid or use like a military affiliation, like the GI Bill or something? No, because it's not accredited, right? You're not earning actual college credits. So those types of loans don't apply. And who the hell wants more student loans anyway, right? So anyway, this is a presentation that Scott did out of Chicago, findthemoney.info. It's on raising private capital. It's an amazing training. It's only 20 some minutes long, but it teaches you how to have those conversations about leveraging people. Because guys, it's funny, a guy in our group, Dan, actually contacted one of these list providers. I'm in Langhorne, Pennsylvania right now, which is about 10 minutes from the Jersey border, about 30 minutes from Philadelphia in the city, but we're in the suburbs. We're in Bucks County. Within a 15-mile radius of this zip code, check this out. They did a report of people who earn $500,000 or more, and it could be combined, husband, wife, whatever, but $500,000 income per family, per household, and have their money in a CD. Yeah, making 1.25%, probably 1%. There's thousands of them, guys. There's thousands of people. There's people with their money in their 401ks making single digits, right? And when we show them that they can actually invest their money, these are people that you know, invest their money in real estate, secured by real estate, a tangible asset, and earn 8, 10, 12% on their money. It's a win for you. It's a win for them. You understand? So these are the types of conversations that most real estate investors have with the people in their life that they know or people that you meet. Right? This teaches you how to have those conversations and it breaks it down. Not to mention we have 8 hours of training on raising private capital, but that's again in the classes. Okay. This is a getting started portal. A lot of times people want to know, well, this sounds like a lot of information. Where do I begin? Listen, in addition to getting access to the classes, you're going to learn, you need to learn how to get plugged into the system. How do I get on the morning calls? How do I get a notification, like that text alert to get on that call? How do I join the study group? How a million questions, right? We created a getting started portal that will walk you through step by step by step. And whatever questions you have, we sit down with you and help you. We have an onboarding document that you're going to fill out, a complete document, which is about you, your goals, your dreams, your aspirations, where you want to go from here. It's important I show you what the education looks like, right? So this is logging into the main screen. You'll see this is me. Move this around. Brian Mara right here. This is my back office. This is where I access the classes. So when I go to the education, I'm going to click Essentials. That's that first 1997 course with the 80 hours of training. Remember, I said there's 10 8-hour classes? So here's what they look like. Couple things you need to know. You see these headphones right here, guys? These are basically letting you know that you can download every one of these classes on MP3. Take it with you. Put it on your phone. Bring it in your car. Turn your car into a university on wheels. Take it to the gym. Go for a walk. You see what I mean? Every class, you can download the audio and take it with you and listen to it over and over and over until you get it, which is pretty cool. This represents a workbook right here. That basically, obviously, you're in class, right? You're going back to school. So you're going to have a workbook. You take your notes, write everything down, and follow along. Finally, this check right here, that little green check, there is what's called a pre-assessment and a post-assessment. Now, I told you guys, and I always do a disclaimer, I don't want to get sued. This is not the University of Phoenix. We have no affiliation with the University of Phoenix, but the woman, there's actually a lady who created the ISD, the Instructional System Design for the University of Phoenix, was hired, contracted by Renatus to build this. First time ever, which is why it's so phenomenal, because they literally followed the model of the University of Phoenix, but applied it to the world of real estate investing. And here's what you get. This is what, so you have to take a pre-assessment. They test your knowledge going into the class. Then you got to take a post-assessment testing you on the way out. You understand? Now, if you fail in the beginning, and most people do, this is what cracks me up too. So many big shot investors, right? Oh man, I don't need that education. I've done so many deals. And they'll get started. Maybe they'll just get the essentials course, or maybe they get the full thing. And they start taking the pre-assessments and they fail. And they get them all wrong. And they're like, yeah, I didn't know what I didn't know. I'm like, yeah, dude, me too. Like I didn't know most of this stuff. Let me give you an example. Creative acquisitions. Let me open this up and show you what this looks like. I hope the internet speed is keeping up with me, but check this out, guys. It's not a little 90-minute video on how to acquire property with no money or credit, which is exactly what Creative Acquisitions teaches. Check this out. It's 8 hours. Look at this playlist. You understand? All these different modules broken up into bite-sized chunks. For example, equity sharing, JV relationships, joint ventures, right? A master lease strategy, options, lease, the option illustration, lease options, right? Agreement for deed strategy, such as a land contract, installment contract, contract for deed. Oh, I don't know. Maybe you want to learn how to do a seller carryback mortgage. Maybe you want to do subject to. You understand? Guys, this 8-hour section right here humbled me, crushed me, because I've always heard, remember, I started off as a real estate agent in 07. I always heard of taking a property over subject to, doing a seller carryback, wrap mortgage, right? I've heard the terms. I graduated real estate school, right? But I could never implement. I had no idea how to structure a deal. Do you understand? And I tell people this all the time. If you start off in your wholesaling, what are you looking for? You're looking to get the house at the cheapest you can, add a little on top for you, and wholesale it out. Wonderful. But once you're educated, once you have knowledge, and you're like, you know what? I could take this property over subject to, I could do a wrap, I could do a contract for deed, I could do this, I could do that. You're looking at it with different eyes, guys. And you're literally going to see deals that most investors, most wannabe investors, they're not educated. So they don't even see the deal that you now see because you have the knowledge. This is called creative acquisitions, and it blew my mind. You understand? Blew my mind. It's because you don't know what you don't know. Now, once again, that's the essentials. There's all the other courses. I want to show you the AITs. These are the advanced tracks, right? Broken up into categories. Now, I have the whole thing. I went with the 20 Gs. I did the whole thing. And by the way, like I said, consider getting a tuition partner. It's split in half, right? So it's 1, 4, and 10, not 2, 8, and 20. But anyway, here's all your lease options, which are your buy and hold strategies, your fix and flips, your short sales, multifamilies, and it goes on and on. One more important thing, I'm trying to speed up because I know we got to be done by 1. I got 5 minutes. Paperwork. Everyone wants to know about paperwork. So if you go to real estate forms, check this out. Every type of document you will need. Look at this. Checklist, data gathering, and analysis documents. Every single thing you need is here. Budget spreadsheet, buyer checklist, evaluating properties, general property checklist, property acquisition checklist, on and on. Contracts, deeds, and addendums, right? What do you got here? Addendum to standard lease purchase, counteroffer, due on sale acknowledgement, letter of intent to purchase, limited power of attorney, on and on and on. Guys, every single form you will need is in here. Well, what is it customized for my state? Well, yeah, because we use them. So we have the customized version for Pennsylvania, for New Jersey, for New York, and all the other 16 states where we're operating. Now, Renatus is in all 50 states. So these documents here are generic that work in all 50 states, but you probably want to customize it and make sure they follow local laws and all, because that's a good thing to do. And again, working with us, you don't have to worry about that. One last thing I want to show you while I'm in here is the commissions, because sometimes people don't believe it's real that they pay you for referrals. Well, it's real. I have $340 coming next week. I don't know what the hell for, but I want to show you the commission history. So I made today $2,172.08. Let me see if you guys see that. $21.7208 today, $738 on the 14th, $120 on the 10th, $12,000 here, $100, $12,000, $9,500. Guys, scroll all the way down to the bottom. You'll notice something. Earned to date in the last 18 months, they paid me $190,314 net into my TD bank account for referrals. If you have more questions, reach out to me, right? But when it comes to actually getting started, you're going to have to talk to the person who invited you. I can't help you with that.